Sorry. Okay. Call me weird. No, wait, I am weird. I'm a paranormal junkie. Okay? Absolutely obsessed with it. And I'm also slightly obsessed with cryptozoology. Today I found two different things. One, sorry, my nose just has to do with 31 most haunted places in America. And it's different places around America, around the United States. A few are in Illinois, there's like a couple in Massachusetts and Missouri, California, Pennsylvania, Louisiana. I think there's a couple in Louisiana. And Texas, a few in California, Connecticut. There's one in Georgia. Some of them is like, a Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, Limp Mansion, the Villisca Axe Murder House, Bobby Mackey's, Winchester Mystery Mansion, and but number 10 on that list is Wright-Patterson Air Force Museum here in Ohio. I think that's funny. And like the places that I mentioned before, Bachelor's Grove, Bobby Mackey's, the Myrtle's Plantation, Villisca, Limp Mansion, and the Bell Witch Cave and Gettysburg Battlefield and Waverly Hills and the Stanley Hotel in Alcatraz. Ghost Adventures have gone there. It's like, yeah, funny. Some of these places I already knew about. Like, the Bell Witch Cave. Knew about that even before Ghost Adventures went there. I only watched like 5 minutes, like maybe 2 minutes of that episode where they went there. Like, okay, whatever. But, and of course the Whaley House. Can't forget the Whaley House. Yeah, I'm a dork. But the other one is about this place in Georgia. About this grave of this lady. And supposedly this lady was widely believed to have been a werewolf. It's like the only other werewolf story that I know of, it comes out of Wisconsin. And, or urban legend, whatever the hell you want to call it. And, I'm actually weirdly pleasantly surprised that there's another werewolf story. A werewolf legend. An American werewolf another one that's American. I'm obsessed with werewolves. Have been ever since I can remember. And this is the grave of a supposed werewolf. Of a woman that was from a prominent family that lived in Georgia. It doesn't say what time or like what time era this is from exactly. It's just, and apparently the lady had died in 1911 and apparently the lady's mother had followed her into the woods because this lady, when she was a child, complained of insomnia and couldn't sleep and, walking around the woods in the middle of the night. And the lady's mom, there's like farmers were complaining about wolf attack, farmers were complaining of sheep killing, their sheep being attacked and crap like that, and livestock being attacked by a wolf or something. So, back in those days, especially across Europe, there was a widespread fear of wolves because of the werewolf legends and and people believing that they were werewolves, and of course it was mainly because of EGOT poisoning. I know I'm not pronouncing it right. In the bread, because they were making the bread out of infected rye or infected wheat, and it's just like, okay. And this is probably what I'm thinking that this is, because this lady's mom had sent this girl, who was the shyest out of all of the children, off to Europe. That pretty much shows you how wealthy this family was, because sending your children off to a boarding school, you have to be fairly rich to do that, or your kid gets a scholarship or something for being a genius. Because especially in Europe, mainly, I'm assuming mainly from what my previous research has proven, that in some areas like France, because mainly where the poisoning from the poisoning of the bread with the grain, the wheat and the rye, and it mainly only affects grains like wheat and rye. The stuff that you can make bread with is mainly in those areas where it can grow easily, like France, stuff like that. And a couple of because there was an outbreak of EGOT poisoning in France during the 1950s, but this lady died at the age of 70 though in 1911, and this was before 1950s, with the bread made with the infected rye or wheat. So yeah, and like I was saying, it's farmers melted down silver, made them into bullets. Supposedly silver kills werewolves, as the werewolf legends say, is silver and straight up real silver, because it burns them and it kills them almost instantaneously because it affects their blood. And the most efficient way to kill werewolves is either beheading them, cutting off their head, shooting them in the heart or in the lung, or like in the heart and lungs area, because that's mainly werewolves need. That's part of the whole transformation thing. It's like, yeah. And apparently a hunting party saw a silhouette of a giant wolf-like creature under the light of a moon, firing off their guns and rifles and shit. One of them had actually, one of the shots had connected to the supposed werewolf-like creature. Poor thing ran off. I know I'm going to say poor thing because I'm going to be sympathetic towards the werewolf, because I love wolves. Wolves are beautiful. I consider them my babies. I'm a straight up wolf person. Like, I would literally maim myself for a wolf if there was no other option. I would literally cut off an arm for him. I'm a weirdo. Like, now if the wolf killed one of my babies, that would be a different story. Then I'd be going ape shit on that wolf. But under normal circumstances, I'd be going ape shit on the other person. I would literally cut off my own arm and start beating them with my arm. Yeah, I'm a weirdo. But, poor thing let out a scream, and it's apparently the werewolf-like creature stopped attacking. And the daughter's mom followed the daughter into the woods. That was the supposed werewolf. Was, like, you know, all eager. It's like, dude, I'm gonna discover this shit. What's going on with my kid? And apparently she found her daughter bleeding. And like passed out, bleeding from her hand. It's like, and of course, apparently the mom sent her daughter off to Paris, off to France. I know I'm being a dork ass. I'm being silly. To a specialist who specialized in lycanthropy. Which I find rather weird, because they would have actual specialists in lycanthropy back in those days. Makes no sense to me. Because I've never once ever found that there was actual specialists for lycanthropy, or even lycanthropic disorder, which is a mental disorder, which a person thinks he or she's a werewolf. Yes, this shows you how much I really do know about werewolves. I know too much about this shit. It goes to show you that I have nothing else better to do with my time besides do laundry and job hunt. But this was actually back when I was a lot younger than I am now. So, yeah, I am a weirdo. As you tell, it makes me weirdo. And it's like, crazy. And apparently the girl comes back, supposedly cured of lycanthropy. It's like, okay, if it's lycanthropy, then it would have been lycanthropic disorder, and you can't really cure something like that, especially when it's something that's mental. Because when you think about it, because even back then, they didn't know a lot of what a lot of the stuff that was going up here, or even within the body, because it was still, I'm guessing, like, psychological crap. Like, a lot of the stuff like Freud did and Carl Jung was still fairly young, including a lot of the other sciencey medical crap was still fairly young. I don't know if it was in its infancy back then, but it was still fairly young. So apparently she came back from her cured of her mysterious ailment. Of course, back then it would, of course, be a mysterious ailment, because it would be like a form, it would be lycanthropic disorder. And of course, she lived out the rest of her life in Georgia, where she was from, this little town. And then, of course, like I said, in 1911, she died at the age of 70. And, of course, was buried on holy ground with her family. And, of course, now saying that God, stupid notification app, stupid My Talking Angela app, scaring the ever flying monkey out of me and making me spill my pop. Sorry. Excuse me un momento. Yeah, I'll play with you later, Angela. Like, I'll play with you, my little kitty cat, later. But, apparently, in the article it says, to this day, I am literally saying this word for word, paraphrasing. It says here at the end, to this day, there are residents who believe that her spirit, in werewolf form, of course, still roams the countryside on a full moon. Yeah, if she is, I'd be running. If I was these residents, I'd be staying inside. But knowing me, I'd be out there looking for her. And I'd probably be talking to her. I'd be like, look, you're scaring people. Now I want to go here. Like, now I want to go to the cemetery where this lady is buried and see if she's really there in werewolf form. Shut up. I'm not talking to you right now, people. Sorry. I'm busy. Like, I'm busy sharing shit of werewolves. I'm actually surprised that there's there's not more stuff on vampires, like articles and stuff. Like, oh, dude, this person's a werewolf or a vampire. I think this is because partially that there are actual people out there who believe that they are real life vampires. Which these people are cool. I love them in bits and pieces. They're weird, like me, so I love anything weird. So, yeah. Of course, it's also seen a little bit with a stigmata, or stigma, which makes no sense to me. It's like, these people aren't scary, they're just different. It's just, yeah, and this is coming from me. The person who's been obsessed with werewolves and vampires ever since the age of 4. And he loves Halloween. Yeah, I love Halloween. From this nice, lovely little building right here. I'm thoroughly obsessed with werewolves, vampires, ghosts, stuff like that, paranormal. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm a paranormal junkie.